So in this segment, we're going to be discussing P&O Ferries still getting government contracts despite breaking the law and sacking loads of workers illegally. They're still getting funds from the government, and this is, just astonishing. The boss of Brittany Ferries is the one that pointed this out as well. Obviously him being a rival, but at the same time, he's still. I've not heard anything about Brittany Ferries kind of doing what P&O has done. So we're going to cut to the ITV clip here. This is just absolutely astonishing.
Now, that there is sometimes a difference between what politicians say and what they actually do is not exactly a new phenomenon. When P&O Ferries sacked most of its workforce and replaced them with cheaper agency workers, the Transport Secretary at the time, Grant Shapps, said the government was considering cancelling its contracts with the company and switching to other providers. But that was then. Joel has now discovered that the government has since spent more than £250 million with the ferry business and its parent company.
So we've gone from a situation where the government said we're going to look at cancelling all contracts with you, which is what the government should have done, given what they did to predominantly British-based workers here. They didn't do this to their French employees or any other employees that they had. They did this to their British employees because they knew they could get away with it. I think they even warned the government the day before they were going to do this. And the situation is that the government are still giving this company money despite breaking the law. So what incentive do you have to not break the law if you're a big company, considering if you're receiving government funds, you will probably continue to receive government funds? This is nuts.
It's the peak of the summer season at the port of Dover. P&O Ferries operates 4 ships here and traffic is almost back to pre-COVID levels. Some customers are returning, others never left. Despite condemning P&O for sacking hundreds of its crew, His Majesty's government is still spending a lot of money with the company and its owner.
The government have failed to match their words with actions. They've sat back, they've allowed P&O Ferries to get away with it, and worse than that, they've actually awarded them hundreds of millions of pounds in taxpayers' cash.
Written parliamentary...
This is a good tagline for Labour to go down, and this would be great if they weren't also watering down their promises on worker rights. So, yeah, not the best, but this is definitely a line Labour should be going down to attack and potentially offering solutions to stop this sort of stuff happening. I would have ran with this if I were them, honestly. This is an easy goal, but, they don't like scoring goals.
Questions submitted by the MP Louise Hay reveal the Ministry of Defence has made payments of almost £600,000 to P&O since the mass sackings for movements of freight and business travel. Separately.
So for business travel, so you're telling me, right, that the Ministry of Defence could not have found a different ferry company to have taken them on these routes? Honestly, for business travel, you're telling me no other ferry operators do the routes that P&O are doing? Come on, man.
British International Investment, which operates as part of the Foreign Office, has paid £228 million to DP World for work modernising 3 ports in Africa.
You're telling me no other company could have done this? You're genuinely telling me no other company in the world could have helped them with these modernisation of these ports in Africa? And I believe that he said they are free ports as well, which is even worse because free ports are scummy as hell. But genuine question, you're telling me no other company in the world could have done this? Absolute nonsense.
This means your employment is terminated with immediate effect.
Last March, on a Zoom meeting, P&O fired 800 crew without notice or consultation. Security marched them off the company's ships to be replaced by cheaper agency workers.
We did choose not to consult.
P&O's boss
feels like it was this year this happened, honestly. Such a long time ago, last year, March.
Admitted the company had knowingly broken the law, but he insisted the action was necessary to avoid bankruptcy. At the time, the government called P&O's behaviour despicable, and Grant Shapps promised action.
For our part, we're reviewing all government contracts with P&O Ferries as a matter of urgency and, Madam Deputy Speaker, with DP World.
Shock that the government talked big and did nothing. Wow, I can't believe it. Just like the lady said at the start, politicians say one thing and do another. Wow, shocking.
One of the seafarers who was dismissed by P&O last year is unimpressed.
The government don't have the appetite to hold to account these corporate lawbreakers, and when they should be standing up for the British public.
Tonight, the government told us that it has acted swiftly and decisively against P&O Ferries' appalling treatment of its staff. It says all contracts held with DP World and P&O have been reviewed as promised, and it only uses their...
Oh yeah, we reviewed it. We said, look, let's have a look at these contracts, and they're fine. Genuinely, it just beggars belief. I just not even surprised. I shouldn't be surprised, but I just kind of am how brazen they are. They said we're going to put these contracts under review, and what they did is wrong. And then we reviewed them, and so apparently no one else in the world can do the job that P&O Ferries is doing, despite the fact that they said if they didn't sack all these rich workers, they would have faced bankruptcy. It's clearly not the best run company. So you're telling me you couldn't find another company to do this? Genuinely?
Services when there is no other alternative. The government also points out that the Home Office did cancel a contract with P&O Ferries last May.
Oh no, you cancelled one contract. Oh my god. What about the rest of them though? You should have cancelled a lot of them, honestly.
The government has changed the law to compel P&O to pay its agency workers the national minimum wage. But the
I beg I don't get copyright for this music.
legislation won't take effect until next year, so for now the company can...
They're going to get away with this, honestly. They've done what they wanted to do, and what's to stop them breaking the law in the future? Who's going to stop them? The government didn't do anything this time. Who's going to stop them this time? Honestly, or next time?
Boss of Brittany says P&O treats agency workers like galley slaves.
The low wage, the number of weeks worked on. Okay, it all complies with international law, but the real fact is, doesn't matter if it's legal, it's morally wrong.
And this is a guy who I think his company have to compete with P&O Ferries. So if P&O Ferries can get away with paying their workers less, it does create the problem for him where he could say, well, maybe I need to do this to compete more because I want to make more money, or my business isn't as viable as it could be unless I pay my workers less. Genuinely, just the fact that P&O Ferries got away with this, it's just astonishing.
P&O Ferries says the suggestion it mistreats agency staff is manifestly false and offensive. The company told us it has returned to strength and is now back as the biggest ferry operator on the English Channel.
And that's what I mean by paying their workers less. It means that they have more money for more ferries and other things, so they can continue to expand. Whereas the other companies that are paying their workers properly will struggle to do that. And this is not an argument to say, "Oh, pay everyone less," because only an idiot would use that argument. Is to pay people properly, is to have a level playing field. Maybe the guy who runs Brittany Ferries, maybe his staff are more based in France, so he couldn't pull a stunt like this even if he wanted to. But point being is that British employment law is so weak, and the powers that be are so pathetic, they couldn't even deal with this. A guy who brazenly, openly admitted to breaking the law when it came to sacking these workers, they decided not to do it. The government decided not to do anything. Genuinely shows the weakness of unions, but also of this government, who are just pathetic, giving this company more money. Pathetic, taxpayers' money.
It says the decision to sack its crew last year has saved the company and secured 2,200 jobs. John...
Stop the cap. Honestly, they stopped the cap. It's good piece from ITV. I don't give them a ton of credit because they got Robert Peston on. He's a bit of a fraud, but genuinely, pretty decent reporting from ITV. This is good work, and I criticise journalists when they deserve criticism, and I should praise journalists and news outlets when they do decent work, and I think this is good. But anyways, I'm gonna leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Well, my credit's probably not worth much, but let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, support the channel on Patreon if you can, and let me know if you can believe P&O got away with it genuinely and they're still getting taxpayers' money.